and inns.
So, wandering down the main road as you continue through the main thoroughfare, which runs all the way through town, you do see a temple. Where's that? And you find a temple to Tymora, goddess of luck.
Is that the only temple in town?
It's the first one you come across.
And I will move on.
I shout out basically like some teenage-ish individual coming by, and I'm like, boy, where's a temple for a good gods, you know, hoity-toity, something like that.
You're just asking some passerby?
Yeah, some teenage boy. I may even be, you know, spinning a copper between my fingers.
Oh, hey, wait a second. Tymora is actually a goddess of the harpers.
Yeah, and it's a pretty common god for adventurers to follow.
I'm doing my research on it right now. I will go into that temple.
Okay, yeah, so you stop at this temple, and it is a rather large structure. You do know that Tymora being also sometimes referred to as Lady Luck, or the Goddess of Luck. A lot of times their establishments, when they don't have a lot of temples across, but when you do find them, a lot of times they do have games of chance being played, a lot of the symbols of money and coins being changed, and types of games or things that represent Tymora. But it is an actual temple too. Many adventurers will typically follow Tymora. It's a place where a lot of adventuring groups can typically go to get healed, those kinds of things. So it's something that you would have knowledge of. And as you enter in the temple, you can see quite a few different games are being played, and it's a pretty jovial atmosphere. And you're able to pick out several priest-looking members, just kind of either hosting games or speaking to people, or in the different area. And you can kind of wave one down.
I seek a deacon.
Yeah, and he. You actually know too that they typically, a lot of times, they're called, I want to say, luck bringers. Yeah, luck bringers. Clerics are sometimes known as luck bringers, or so you find one of these guys. It's an older gentleman, balding, and he comes over to where your party's at, and says, welcome, please partake into these games and fun. Welcome to the Temple of Tymora.
Thank you, kind sir. I cannot at this point take part in your games, but I do have a request for your holiness.
And he does look at you and your group and realizes that you're not just townsfolk or farmers or such. You're definitely the looks of the adventuring type. And he says, please follow me. And he kind of leads you back into a hallway that leads out of this main room, and it leads into like an office area, and he has like an office, and he offers you a chair, because he sits behind kind of another, actually a chair behind a desk, and he sits and he says, please, how may I help your group?
We have a fallen companion that we are taking back to his homeland, but he fell days ago, and we seek a simple spell of gentle repose to preserve his body on the trip back. And I will make sure to flash my Harper badge while we're talking. Subtly.
Yeah. He says, and he says, and your name was? As he holds his hand out to shake your hand.
My name is Finn.
Well met, Finn. I believe this is something I could do for you. If possibly there would be some type of donation to the temple. And he kind of raises an eyebrow.
I'll break my purse out.
Oh, and he kind of waves it away. He says, oh, no. He says, you don't have to just... what I mean is maybe if you were to spend a little of that in the games of chance, you would gain Timora's favor, and then that would definitely be a boon to this temple.
I certainly can.
And he says, I will gather the necessary materials, and if you were to meet me in the morning, I would be able to conduct the service for you.
And shall we play games now?
He says, please feel free whenever you have a moment. Having the lady's luck on your side never hurts.
Well, I know what I'm doing for the rest of the night. What about the rest of you?
And go ahead and roll, let's see. I guess it'd be perception, maybe? Insight? Let's see, where's your character sheet? Finn. Insight would probably be better.
Come on, I've got an actual checked box next to my perception.
I bet you do. Actually, everybody that's there in the meeting can roll an insight check.
It's bad when a bard's more insightful than a... Oh no, Finn got it that time.
Fucking natural 20, bitch.
Laying it down.
GB was out front with the cart, so
okay.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, and you both are realizing what he's asking too is not necessarily that you have to spend a ton of money or you have to gamble. It's just the idea that if you did some gambling within the temple, it's allowing the lady, you're asking her for luck, and you're willing to accept whatever luck she gives you. So it's not like you have to spend thousands of gold or anything. It's a very typical thing where you might spend, 30, 40-ish kind of gold, allowing the luck of the lady to possess, the game itself. And that's more what he's referring to versus having to stay there like the entire night or anything like that.
Make it so.
Okay. So he says thank you, and he calls for a servant and he's given him like a list of things that he needs for this ritual that he's going to perform, and then kind of let you guys be on your way.
Oh, I'm gonna gamble.
Okay. And so we've got one, and what's the rest of the group gonna do?
Gambling sounds entertaining to me.
Okay.
How did we decide to divvy up what we took off the corpses last week? I wrote some of the stuff down that I gathered. We just never made that decision. Sorry to metagame there for a sec, or step out for a second.
He should be, your party should have that discussion. Because I think everybody just grabbed stuff, wrote
At this
stuff down,
point,
and I have no idea who
happy
took
to
what.
spend what I grabbed.
Okay, this is what G cart of what he said. 2 cultist daggers, 6 light crossbows, and 6 times 40 crossbow bolts. Anything else, I hope you guys wrote down because GB was grabbing stuff.
I got a potion, a cultist dagger. I don't have 13 gold, 16 copper, or 12 silver.
And then there was a set of bracers, but I think Coffee had those because he was going to cast Identify.
He was gonna get someone else to cast it. He doesn't have it yet.
Nah.
And
So I guess that's something we need to do.
Jarral got 18 copper, 19 copper, so that's 37 copper and 11 silver. I crashed, so I wasn't there for the last part of it, but I don't think I got any items out of that.
No. And I only got 22 copper.
Pretty sure Finn didn't loot any corpses. Heathens.
I made sure to put some looted corpse stuff inside Finn's saddlebags just for fun.
He just thinks that stuff just shows up magically. 'Cause God loves him.
Exactly.
10 out of 10. I mean, if we want to split it up, we could. It's just very little money.
I just want to make sure we did it before I started gambling some of it away.
Oh, that's true. So, do we want to divvy it up between the 6 of us? 7? How many other? 1, 2, 3.
Is anybody else gambling or spending money tonight?
Yeah, Jarral will gamble. I mean, it'll depend on how much is gambling, but yeah, Jarral will gamble.
I'll follow if the majority of you guys go.
Well, I'm kind of expecting Greybeard to go fence a bunch of stuff, stolen stuff.
That's what I'm working on, or I'd hope to do. It'd be nice if I had a partner.
I'll follow you. I'll totally go with Greybeard. Make sure you don't get in any trouble.
All right.
I don't think that's what he was looking for.
Nope. The coffee's not here, so I'll
That's
back
right.
him up.
So it's probably the best idea. I'm just saying.
Nod will go with you.
Nod will go with us.
Not gonna hang around a church while Finn's gambling.
Ooh,
Dull.
at the same time, we're gonna wander through town with a celestial lion.
He'll ride in the cart.
Dude, that's so badass, though.
Okay.
Like, oh yeah.
All right.
Pop up with a lion? Like, who expects that in the middle of fucking the Sword Coast?
Pull me like I'm a king.
I'll flop up his hair before we get into any interactions.
Put it in
Make him look
curls.
bigger.
Put in curls. Nice.
Give him a perm. Alright, so I'll follow Greybeard. I'll follow you where you go.
All right. All right. Well, we're gonna try to find a place to fence some arms and armor.
Okay. So we've got Greybeard and Ian
Yeah.
looking for a merchant. And I see, what's happening with the wagon? You're taking the wagon then, right?
Oh yeah. Because it's got all the stuff.
Okay. And you've got Nod with you. And then I'm hearing Ardreth, Finn, and Jarral are staying at the temple.
Gambling, yes.
Gambling, yeah.
Okay.
And playing music.
Wait, the temple is a casino? It's half and half? What?
It's the goddess of luck, and so
That's just that it's
the
church
best
a
way
casino?
to yeah. So it's like games of chance. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Vegas is like the mecca,
It's just one giant
the holy city.
keno room.
You guys are gonna play bingo.
Dude, you beat me to it. I had to turn my mic.
9.
Uh-huh.
Bingo.
There's a lot of old people in here. Okay. So the only person we don't know of is Tigray. Did he show up yet?
No.
He's not here. I say he goes and gets that item ID'd.
Oh. That probably costs money though. He probably needs to make a persuasion check.
Someone
Then
look at
we
his
should make
character.
sure to win while we're gambling.
There you go.
So we'll send Tigray with Greybeard then and Ian.
Someone sharky and
Sounds
savvy
good.
like Greybeard.
All right, so yeah, there's different games of chance and stuff going on. So you guys are just, you can pick whatever you want to do. There's dice games and card games and all those kinds of things that are happening there, and you can just wander around and partake. Moving on to our other group, so you're in your wagon and you're seeing lots of different merchant areas. You're seeing lots of like Lion Coster kind of merchants and stuff, and so you can just pick any of them that as you go in, and you talk to a proprietor, and it looks like a typical adventurer's loadout kind of store.
I specifically look to see if I can find a place that might happen to be, part of a family of sorts, with a certain reputation.
Do you tell me, Greybeard, what kind of vendor you're looking for?
No.
All right. No perception score for you.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm just looking for a place to sell things. So I'm looking for the reputable stores.
Okay. Yeah, and they're definitely all along the main thoroughfare here. You probably see one or two of them. You can pick. You can just go into the first one.
Do I see any? And oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Because I had food, because I'm starving.
Do we have? Go ahead.
Oh, I've been freaking out trying to find this list, and I've shuffled through my notes like 5 times, went through all my books twice, and then I flipped the list I was looking at over, and there it was. So I'm good now.
Okay. Do I see any adventurers as we go our merry on way?
Yeah, there's the town's pretty full of just about every manner of person. You're seeing quite a few humans. You're seeing every kind of probably profession. You're seeing lots of fishermen. You're seeing farmers. You're seeing tradespeople. You're seeing townsfolk. But you're also seeing adventurers and caravan guards and merchants and adventuring groups, walking through. Go ahead and give me a perception check now that you're kind of taking a look at the crowd. Yeah, that's pretty good. You're also noticing it seems to be a pretty high ratio, or just, it's a bigger number than you've noticed in other places of half elves seem to be walking about. And and you might think that it's probably because, you're not too far from the high forest. You're still not too far away. But there's also a lot of half-elves. You don't see too many of the other races. There's a few probably dwarves here and there, but it's not as many. A few halflings here and there, not as many. Not a lot of elves.
Oh. If I can't find any elf that looks more like me, or any elf adventurer, I'll just go for one of the half elves, and I'll stop them on the street.
Okay.
For a second.
Yeah. You see a half elf woman who appears to be in like scale mail armor, has a shield slung across her back, sword on her hip, and she's walking kind of with another group that, very similar to like your group as far as looks and swagger and in the way they walk.
I walk over there, and I'm taking Nod with me because he's my bud, and I'm like, "Hey, do they stop?"
And
Yeah,
says we
they
shouldn't talk
give you
to
the head nod. She gives you like the sup, but doesn't actually say anything to you. Just kind of like the head nod.
Oh, she didn't talk. That's good.
We're looking for a place to sell things. Any places you've gone that you'd recommend?
Yeah, and she kind of looks back over her shoulder and she says, I think everybody pretty much buys from the Lion Shield Coster if you're looking for a sword or something, or if you've got a couple of extra to sell, that's where I'd probably go. And she kind of, gives you the thumb over her shoulder towards a building that you can see that has the Lion Share Coster's symbol on the front of it. Just maybe a couple of buildings down on the main thoroughfare here.
All right. I scratch Nod a little bit behind the ear, and I just give them a nod, and I turn back.
Yeah, and you can tell that while you were addressing her, the group is mostly looking at Nod, and they're listening to you, and she answered you, but she was mostly kind of looking at Nod. And then, they just kind of give you that's kind of cool look, and the wave, and they're like, good luck. And they kind of continue heading on. Looks like they're heading to the north of town, and it seems like a lot of the adventuring types are heading that way.
It's because I'm regal.
I rub him on the head. Like a good boy. All right. I go over to Greybeard and I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
They say the Lion Shield Coster is pretty good.
All right.
Right over there. Let's head over there.
All right.
Meanwhile, Greybeard's just looking around trying to see over people's heads.
Well, I'm on a cart, so I'm doing just fine. The thing I did want to ask is, are you and Nod speaking like Elvish or Sylvan or just common?
Common.
Yeah, common.
Okay. All right. I basically am like, Nod, will you, guard the cart?
Absolutely.
Give a shout if anyone, gets close.
I kneel down and I fluff up his mane a little bit, trying to make him look larger, more intimidating.
He leaps up into the cart.
Perfect.
Stands proud.
The cart creaks.
All right.
Yeah, it's quite the spectacle. There's definitely the passerbyers are super interested in a white lion in the middle of town. So lots of people are there. Every now and then there might be kids that peek out around a corner and look at him and then run away fearfully and then come back, and it turns it into like a game. And then you see mothers and fathers shooing their children along as if afraid of what a giant lion might do. As you guys walk into the Lion Share Coster. And it's a typical, very, very typical building. It's the type of, adventurers, outfitters building you've seen before. The walls are stacked with all kinds of different equipment and gear. You guys have been in several, throughout your adventuring careers. And you see a human male, flaming red hair behind like a counter. And he looks like he's putting oil on maybe it looks like some type of leather armor piece of some sort. You're not quite sure what type, but it's definitely leather. And he has a pretty jovial look on his face, and waves to you, and as he sees you two walk in. And he says, who's in the lead of who walks in first?
I think if we can get through the door together.
You can.
Yeah. It's it'll be a classic Ian Greybeard move where we try to go in at the same time. Like you both
try, and you bump into each other and you can't make it through.
Look up.
And then one of you has to decide.
RBF and grumpy face at each other.
Bad cop, worse cop.
Yeah. And then I guess what I would do is kind of like bring my shoulder and elbow, like, in the back of her legs or small of her back. I guess I'm like 4'9", small of her back, and just kind of shove her in first then.
And as soon as I feel him like touching me, I reach down and I'm just like smushing his face, like get off of me.
All right. So you guys come in, and the man behind the counter is like, "Oh, wonderful customers, I see." And he's kind of has a quizzical look. His face turns to a quizzical look as he sees you two interacting coming through the door, and he says, "I don't believe we get many wood elves and dwarves here. How may I help you?"
Well, I see you've got a decent stock, but I have some items that were made by fire giants.
He kind of raises an eyebrow and he says, "Interesting. So they're quite large?"
No, that's the best part. A good-sized warrior can wear these.
He says, "Well, I'm very interested, but I would have to definitely see the merchandise before we could go any further, Master Dwarf."
And I reach in my bag and I pull out one of the breastplates from the orc armor, the plate mail.
Okay. Yeah, and he starts looking at it, and he has on, like on a chain around his neck, he has like a monocle glass, and he pulls it out, and he makes a big to-do. It's like a flurry with it, almost like something he's practiced.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts inspecting the breastplate, and obviously these sets of armor have been banged up pretty good from you guys fighting.
Yep.
said Orogs. But he's looking at it and he's like, He says, "It's not a style that I think a lot of people would purchase." And he kind of furrows his brow, and you can tell he's thinking. And he says, "And is the condition of all of the armor you speak of such as this?"
Supposedly, this was the good stuff that was left.
Okay.
Because it's only 3 suits.
Okay. Yeah. He says, "I don't know if I could sell it. I don't know if anybody's going to buy orc armor, but the plate, as you can tell, is made of a fine quality of metal."
Well,
How much are you asking, Master Dwarf?
I've got a whole lot. I've got some great axes. I've got some hide armor, some leather armor, some bracers, some crossbows. Looking to get, tell you what, it's used gear. Give me quarter price on it.
I sort of look at Greybeard. I look at him very inquisitively. Like I tilt my head a little bit because this is certainly not how I thought this was going to go.
Okay.
This isn't the Greybeard I know, the one who asked for like 3 times the price of things.
Where's the wheeling dealing?
I don't believe I have a wheel in deal skill.
Yeah, so
I have a mighty thirst and tavern brawling to do.
Parlay with him.
But you like money. Money is your favorite terrain.
I know, but also too, like I said, someone with some charisma should have come on this trip. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm role playing a dwarven pirate. So
yeah, let's
if I wanted money, I'd just club this guy and grab it.
He says, "Well, let's bring in the armor first, since that's going to be the heaviest and bulkiest, and just bring it in. We'll lay it out here, and then let's come up with a price." Because you can tell he's very interested, but he also doesn't want to. You get the impression that he likes the idea of your pricing structure so far. He's like, "Let's bring it in. Let's put it on the table, and let's take a look at this." So you bring in 3 sets of plate, right?
Yeah, I did up all the numbers on the whole lot if you just want that.
Well, we're going to do some rolls to see what we can get here. So we're going to do the plate all as one. Let's do a persuasion roll as you are discussing this with him, and let's see how well that turned out.
This is going to go well.
You roll 20s all the time. What are you talking about?
That's true. That's true. Here it is. Here's some natty 20. Bam. Yeah. Look at me.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's willing to give you a quarter of what plate mail would typically be worth.
Okay.
But it is of a style that's hard to sell. It is used. So we'll say typically maybe 1,000 would be a very low ball plate mail armor. So
Yep.
a quarter of that be 250 gold
Okay.
per set. So he's willing to part 250 gold for for each of them.
Okay. So 750. Okay.
And he's like, you can tell he feels like he's getting the better end of the deal. He feels like I'm really playing this guy. This is great. He's like, yeah. What do you have more stuff? Is there more things I can look at?
Yeah.
What else do you want to sell?
I bring out the 5 great axes.
Great axes. Okay. Now these are going to be in pretty good shape. There's not going to be, but they are again of something that's going to be hard for him to sell. And how many do you have?
5.
5.
So 70.
He looks at that
Retail.
and thinks,
A great axe.
I could probably sell. I mean, I might have one customer come through that would buy one, maybe 2 in a year's time to buy this kind of style. It is of pretty good quality, but not of something that normally.
I look at him
he sells.
and I squint my eyes at him and I look around, like I make it very obvious what I'm doing, and I look around the place and I look at all his wares and I'm like, I just passed 20 adventurers on my way here. I stopped a group of 5, whom I'm sure one had a great axe on his back. You're telling me you can't sell 5 of these in a year?
And
How do
it's
you make money?
And he looks at you and he doesn't, like, in a way he doesn't want to offend you, and he says, very true, and we do sell lots of arms to many adventurers. The problem is these are clearly orcish in nature, and he's trying to say it as not as a person who's trying to not say something racist.
okay. All right. I can live with that.
So he's like, I think the market's a little different for this style of great axe. Had they been a dwarven great axe, sure, I could sell 10, 20 dwarven great axes. But 5, he's like, well, I'm willing to buy 2 from you.
At half price.
Oh, let's make a persuasion check. He's looking at him and he's like, oh, and he gives you the kind of the song and the dance of, it's just going to be so hard for me to sell this, and I really think if we stick with that quarter price of the value, that I'll be able to, because I got to be able to feed my family and I need to be able to make money off it also, even though it may sit here for a month or 2, and he keeps going on and on. So he's willing to give you a quarter of what a typical great axe would be.
There are other stores in this place, right? There are other places to sell things in this very large city, correct?
Well, we could just start yelling out front. I mean, we got a lion. People will stop. We're good.
We could sell
And
this.
I start reaching for the great axes.
Just put them back in. We'll sell them ourselves.
Okay, and yeah, he kind of looks at him longingly, like, oh shoot, you let something go, but he's not willing to overpay, and he feels, you can kind of see a little disappointed look on his face, as if he botched the deal.
All right then. And
Should we call Nodden with the crossbows?
I think what I'll do is, I'll ask Nod if he'd be willing to play pack animal for a minute, and I'll stack like pretty much the remainder of it on him and kind of carry it in if he's willing.
We only need one. I mean, this man didn't want to buy the great axes. Just bring in one. He'll look at it. He'll tell us he hates it, and then we'll try and sell it somewhere else.
Okay.
So I'm just like, hey, Nod, can you do us a favor and just bring one of the crossbows in?
Yeah. Grab one and run it in.
Okay. He has a little trouble getting through the doorway. He's pretty big, but he makes it through. Doesn't knock anything over, but it's super close. And it looks like he's just one step away from a huge disaster of shelves and stuff being battered around. But he does it gracefully enough and drops this crossbow on the counter.
I'm like a dancer.
Thanks, buddy. I scratch him behind the ear.
I'll go back out of the cart.
All right.
Yeah, so he looks at the crossbow, and the crossbow is more of a general kind of use looking crossbow. So, and he gives you the quirk. He's like, "All right, Master Dwarf, this seems to be a pretty good quality. I'm willing to give you 9 gold pieces."
For all to take 9 apiece on the 6 of them.
Oh, you have 6 of them. Yeah,
Yes.
9 per.
Sold.
Okay.
Oh, my soul. It hurts so much.
The greedy wood elf.
The greedy PB. Oh my god.
This is more money than you guys have had in months.
I know. See, it's a GB thinking, so that's why I'm like. Anyway, metagaming. Okay. So, got hide armor.
Just one?
Nope.
Or...
4 that were in good shape.
Yeah, you bring one of these in, and they do not smell very good. These are definitely way more damaged and battered from the, severe beating the orcs took through that hide armor. And he's kind of like this, and he's like, I don't mean to offend Master Dwarf, but I don't think I can sell any of these. I don't think I would be a good customer for you on these hide armor. So he's like, no on the hide.
Were these from the orcs?
So Greybeard takes a closer look at him, and he goes, "My GM lied to me," and he shakes his fist at the sky, and he says, "I see, I understand." And you said these were the ones that were in good shape. That's the reason I wrote them down. But okay, we take them back.
Good for orcs. You could sell them to orcs.
Yeah, I will.
They smell horrible.
All right, I will. I'll sell them to orcs.
And there's definitely blood caking all of them. And, if Ian wouldn't have put, like, a ton of arrows into them, maybe it would have been a little better.
And then I've got the 2 cultist daggers and the, 6 times 40 bolts.
Yeah, he actually says no to the bolts, any of them. He has barrels and barrels of them, and he says, I am definitely stocked up there. The daggers, I'm willing to give you a gold per dagger, he says.
Sold.
Okay.
All right. That's what we got, unless you're interested in an elven statue or a wheel of stinky cheese.
An elven statue.
Yep. Yeah, we pulled it out of
I'll be right back.
the dragon bag, the giant bag.
Did we? I don't even remember that. Somebody rolled an elven statue, huh?
It was right next to the toboggan.
It was a
The toboggan.
Yeah, and the pig and the
Stupid loot chart.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't know. I guess you could bring the elven statue in.
And I open my bag and pull it out.
Did I give you a size on how big it was?
Yeah, you said it was a elven statue, and it was like half. It was like an elf, but it was like half the size of an elf. So it was like a 4-foot statue or something like that. Because it weighed like, what'd you write? Or what'd you tell me? You said it weighed like 50 pounds.
Oh,
So
all right.
I'm assuming it's made out of something decent.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say, I probably should have even wrote that down. I didn't remember that. We'll say it's like a marble statue, or maybe 4 foot of ivory. We'll make it an ivory statue. That'd be kind of cool. Right. And it's a... Ian, you would recognize this. It is a high elf.
I think she had to BRB. I heard a door
that's
open.
Fine.
Okay.
But it's of a high elf, and it looks like a high elf in some type of priest gown of some sort. So yeah, you kind of show him it, and he looks at it, and he's like, It's like, no, I don't think I could sell that.
All right. Well, I just thought maybe.
All right, and he kind of reaches out to shake your hand. He says, "Wow, it's been great doing business with you, Master Dwarf." And he tells you his name is Vesper.
All right.
Who owns the lion's share coster in Yartar.
Vesper lion's share. Well, I'm Greybeard, part of the group known as the Six, and I got 18 strength. I don't crush his hand, but I put my hand around his in a way that is like iron. Like if he were to try to pull his hand away, it would not go anywhere, kind of thing. And then I shake it, and I'm like, "Heroes of Nightstone, those who defeated the fire giants of Tribor."
Yeah, and he shakes your hand, and he actually has a ledger where he's writing it down, and he writes in there, that he got these things from the Six. He writes it in there, and he's like, "Well, thank you for choosing my establishment. I hope are you off for more adventure?" He says, "I could always use more items of magical nature, which seem to sell quite well here."
What might you have lounging about? As Ian's like looking at other stuff, I'm gonna take this moment, while she's gone, to say, what might you have in the house that might be of magic repute?
Well, he says, actually, that's the thing I'm looking for, is that I've been sold out since the hiring fair has been on. All the adventurers have come through town lately, and it's just about over, and everything will die down. So I'm trying to stock my shelves as much as possible because I am sold out of everything.
Well, I'll talk to my companions and see if there's anything they'd like to get rid of. Yeah, I guess I would leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, and he just writes in his ledger, and he counts out the money and hands it to you. Even gives you like a little pouch. Just gives you the pouch and the money all together. And then definitely says as you're walking out the door, please, whenever your next adventure is over, please come back and let me have a chance at buying whatever you found.
If our trails lead us back this way, we'll definitely see you, Vespers.
He's like, all right, good luck to the Six then. And he kind of pumps his fist into the air.
I do the same kind of thing where we get to the door and we're about to bump into each other again, and I'm looking up at her and she's RBFing me, and then I bow like over graciously and kind of like allow her to go in front.
I straight up roll my eyes at him. And I go through.
All right. Yep. You guys are back out with Nod at the cart. Again, there's some kids that come up and are looking at Nod, but not getting too close. And there's lots of people still moving about.
He
So
barks
still
at him if
pretty
they get too
bustling.
close.
He barks.
Yeah, like a little cat bark.
No, like a big dog bark. He's never actually seen one.
Oh.
I've got no idea what they sound like.
Have we ever seen a lion?
Like
I've been
Clifford
meaning
the
to
Big
ask
Red
this for a
Dog.
long time. Do we know what a lion is?
I would think you would. Yeah.
Have you
Is
ever
it-
been south to the desert? That's where Finn saw him. I've never seen him in the woods.
Also, too, we've probably seen them on heraldry and stuff. So, if
Yeah.
nothing
that's
else.
right.
Well, the sign that you guys of the building you just came out has a big lion head.
I'm barking until I hear one.
But yeah, you may have never heard one, and you may have never fought one.
No, I definitely haven't. I've only ever read about them, if anything.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. For the gamblers, you guys can decide how much you overall would like to wager, I guess, and how much are you willing to gamble away before quitting?
I'm gonna go with. Oh, we never split up the money, did we? I'll start with 3 gold.
What's the
Nice.
minimum?
Well, I think what we'll say is you could spend, several hours playing, copper piece games or whatever, and throughout the night, your luck will go up or down, and I'll probably just make one single roll on it, and based on, if it's a pretty good roll, you maybe double your money. If it's a bad roll, you lose whatever your nightly spending was going to be. I don't think
Sounds
we're going
good
to
to me.
try like a roll for every
Okay.
You-
No, that's fine.
5
Yep.
or 6 gold that you want to spend.
And I will do Bardic Inspiration on myself first. Can I use that here?
Sure.
What am I rolling against then?
A god.
Can I use luck?
I didn't say I was smart. Oh yeah,
I didn't say I was smart.
3 gold is what I'll
yeah,
wager
the
for
skill
evening.
luck just lets you do a re-roll.
Okay.
Is that what it
Yeah.
does,
So
Jarral?
if I have a bad roll, I can re-roll it.
Okay.
What die should I roll for it?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think we'll just do a d20. I don't think it's going to be against a skill. I think we'll do a d20.
Oh,
So
too bad I kept all the
4
king's money.
Yeah. Plus, yeah, we would say that it takes you several hours, and you probably have fun playing, but by the end of it, you hit your cutoff limit of where you're like, okay, I've lost enough that I'm done. So, what'd you say that number was?
3 copper.
Yeah.
No, it was 3 gold.
3 gold. So yeah, I would mark off 3 gold.
Okay.
So what's your cutoff, Jarral, for when I lose this much, I'm done?
It would be 37 copper, 11 silver.
Okay. So you got a 12. Do you want to use your luck to do a reroll, or you want to stick with that?
Yeah, on a luck, I can choose which die to use, right?
Yeah, I think that's how that reads.
Yeah.
I think so.
You know what?
GG.
I will use another luck. There we go.
Okay, sticking with the 19.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you are able to double your money.
Sweet.
And you see actually one of the priests of Timora kind of give you an encouraging nod. Like they can tell and they can feel the power of your luck, and they feel quite honored that you're using it within the temple of the Lady of Luck. It's a very appropriate type of thing to do. And they bring you like some refreshments and stuff, and you know, you have a pretty good time, and you can spend it probably takes you an hour or two, and you're just playing different games, and or you know, or even the same one. It's just, you know, it's a fairly enjoyable time, and then by the end of it, when you finally feel like you're done, you've doubled your money.
Sweet. All right. Is there other people there other than us?
Yeah, there's lots of adventurers in this in here. There's lots of dock workers who come in and will play games. There's all kinds of different townsfolk and stuff. It's a pretty popular place.
All right, I'm gonna try and mingle with the people that are there that I'm playing next to, and just kind of probe and ask questions about giant activity, or just anything interesting in the area. Specifically along the lines of like ruins and things like that, things that would interest Jarral.
Okay. Let me think through that. Logan, do you still need to make a roll?
I'm just going to take a shot at religion to see if I could guess or estimate what the spell components for something like this would run someone who is going to cast it. Or maybe not religion. Maybe there's another, like arcana.
Probably arcana.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it is a cleric spell, so it might be religion.
All right. Well, none of them are very good. I'm gonna dump 15 gold. I clearly have no idea how much it costs to spend or to cast.
So go ahead and roll your d20, but also give me a perception check after you roll it too. So 2 rolls. Okay. All right. So, and you were going to spend how much at 7?
15.
Okay. Yeah, and what you do notice is there's one of the priests are kind of watching you play, and he's watching you bet, and you've lost the 15 at this point, and he kind of gives you this look as you kind of meet eyes of, you should continue to play.
All right, he'll keep playing.
Okay, what's the next amount?
I'll do another 10.
Okay, give me a roll. Just a d20. Yeah. Okay. This time you actually win back your money and you make 5 gold. And when you look over to this priest, he gives you the nod of well played, Paladin. And you get the impression that, okay, you've satisfied their requirement.
All right, I will pocket the money, I guess, if there's no donation or anything like that.
Yeah, it's more the act of letting Lady Luck either give you good or bad luck is what's happening here. It's not like they're trying to make money off you. All right. So, and that's probably over again, just like Jarral, several hours. Jarral, as the people you're talking to, you get some, a few stories here and there. Definitely, there's been giant activity, especially along the Evermore Way. So it seems like a lot of people are traveling in bigger groups or with guards, and it seems to be a little dangerous as of late. Nobody's really talking of any ruins or things like that. There's been some orc raids to the south. There's even been some stories or some rumors of some elven war bands that have been riding around and nobody knows why or where they're going or what they're doing. But again, half of it you get the impression of is probably just people making stuff up, and maybe half of it has a kernel of truth of some sort, but it would be really hard to figure out which is which.
Okay. I do ask if anybody's heard of anything that happened in Tribor.
No, the attack on Tribor has not reached here yet. I think you guys had left pretty quickly after it had happened.
Okay, I do impart that to people as I'm talking to them about the giants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. You just spread the story of the. Well, give me a context of.
So when I ask if there's any giant activity, I do mention that there was an attack on Tribor a few days prior.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Several of them seem quite interested in that.
Okay. He doesn't.
All right, so that should be a couple hours of our group that's in the temple. For the three of you that are not at the temple, what do you do with your several hours?
We're gonna look to see the bracers, because
You're breaking up.
The bracers that Tigray had. We're gonna go find a place to get those
Oh,
identified.
okay. Okay. All right, so we're a little bit past where our first break should be. So let's take our first 5-minute break. We'll come back and we will see if we can't find somebody to cast an identify spell for you guys. And then we will continue on with our adventure currently in Yartar. So go ahead and stay tuned. We got plenty more to go, and we'll be right back.